Friday morning and welcome to Korea Today, brought to you live from Seoul.
In the midst of the ongoing bickering over the missing 2007 Inter-Korean Summit transcripts in South Korea, Pyongyang warns they can reveal their own set of transcripts from past visitations by South Korean dignitaries.
Just summon me and leave others alone. Guess who said this? We'll tell you in the headlines.
And in business news, the Dongyang Group fallout is beginning to affect other companies. We'll tell you how on In Print. 16 years and running, the Seoul International Dance Festival is one of Asia's largest contemporary dance events. I'll be back later with some of this year's most anticipated dances.
A lot of oohs and ahs as stars strutted down the red carpet at the Busan Film Festival, still underway, but not without some questionable looks. We line up the best and the worst. Staying in Busan, we pick 5 of the top must-have dishes when you're in Busan, from cold noodles to a delectable chewy pancake. We'll treat you to some mouth-watering foods live on this Friday, October 11th, 2013.
From Arirang News, this is Korea Today.
And a good Friday morning. Thank you for joining us on Korea Today.
Good morning, everyone. Those of you hopping onto a cab in Seoul starting tomorrow morning will have to pay an additional 600 won to the base fare, to the fare that is shown on the meter. That's because the base taxi fare has been raised from 2,400 won to 3,000 won for the first time since 2009.
Yes, that is a 25% increase, and these measures are by the Seoul City Metropolitan Government to answer calls by cab operators, as well as measures to improve service for the people. The average overall hike is set to be 10.9%, considering an average travel distance of 6 kilometers.
And as a consumer, I have to say, it feels like the prices of everything seem to be going up. The milk prices and the house rental prices, as well as some snack prices.
Exactly.
But I'm sure it's a different side of the story if you're at the end of the equation.
Yeah, that's right. But consumers are still feeling the pinch. You can easily spend over $100 at a supermarket if you're not careful. So try to save on that cab fare and take some form of public transportation, such as the bus or the subway.
All right, we'll begin Korea Today on this Friday morning with a look at the day's headlines.
President Park Geun-hye continues on with her initiative to strengthen Korea's political and security cooperation with the ASEAN region. During the ASEAN Plus 3 summit on Thursday, the president stressed her plan to form a system of multilateral dialogue in the region will create a synergy effect with ASEAN's long-term goal to build an East Asia economic bloc, benchmarking the EU.
발전의 동아시아 공동체 달성을 위한 구체적인 계획을 만들고 실천에 옮기는 것이 무엇보다 중요하다고 생각합니다. 한국은 그 과정에 적극적으로 참여해 나갈 것입니다.
Now, during a separate East Asia summit, 18 member countries, including the U.S., China, Japan, and Russia, threw support behind President Park's so-called trust-building North Korea politic, emphasizing the importance of completely denuclearizing the Korean peninsula. President Park is now back in Indonesia for a 3-day state visit, where she will hold summit talks with Indonesian President Susilo Bambang Yudhoyono. North Korea has threatened to reveal some of the past conversations its leadership had with visiting South Korean lawmakers and envoys. What Pyongyang's Committee for the Peaceful Reunification of Korea said was, if some of the South's anti-North Korea figures keep insulting the 2007 Inter-Korean Summit talks, then Pyongyang will also make other past conversations available where South Korean officials try to please the North Korean regime. This comes as Seoul's ruling and opposition parties continue to bicker over whether late Liberal President Roh Moo-hyun conceded to Pyongyang during an inter-Korean summit back in 2007. Now, analysts say the announcement is the North's way of pressuring the Park administration. In 2002, President Park, then as a special envoy, met with late North Korean leader Kim Jong-il in Pyongyang. Just summon me and leave others alone, says Representative Moon Jae-in, former chief of staff at the time of the much contested 2007 Inter-Korean Summit. Now, this is the strongest statement on the matter as of yet from Moon. He called on the prosecution to stop playing politics and focus on investigating what happened to the missing transcript. Regarding the erased rough draft the prosecutors found, he said there was nothing wrong with those documents not being transferred to the state archives because they were never authorized copy. They were not the authorized copy, rather. In response, the ruling party questioned how Moon could be so unashamed of his acts and called on him to take legal as well as moral responsibility for the missing transcript. On the economic front, Korea's central bank has revised its growth outlook for next year down to 3.8% from its earlier 4%. Now, despite the cut, the number is still greater than this year's growth forecast of 2.8%. Officials say they believe Korea will be able to maintain a moderate recovery next year, but added Seoul cannot look away from external uncertainties.
The Korean economy is heavily reliant on exports, meaning that it reacts very sensitively to external factors. It would have been very odd if the central bank of a country like Korea hadn't changed its growth forecast in response to the IMF's revised outlook.
The IMF recently downgraded Korea's growth forecast to 3.7% from 3.9%. The Bank of Korea left the key interest rate untouched at 2.5% and raised its outlook for this year's current account surplus to $63 billion, up $10 billion from its July estimate.
And happy Friday, everyone. We'll kick off in print with a look at the front page image of our first paper, Goyang Shinmun. We do have a mixed bag of stories today. Now, the image title reads, New Amlok River Bridge to Connect China and North Korea. Amlok River is known as the Yalu River in China, and this bridge would connect China's border city of Dandong to the north's Siniju over the Amlok River. Construction continues on the bridge that, when completed next September, will stretch some 3,030 meters, and the caption says China is footing the bill on this bridge, which rings in at some $294 million. All right, and we'll scoot over to 동아일보 now and take a look at this side story here. The headline reads, all 23 nuclear reactors used parts with forged quality certificates. In a briefing, the government announced the results of its investigation on the nation's power plants after several reactors had to be shut down earlier this year due to the discovery of those forged quality certificates. The government said that all of the nation's 23 nuclear power reactors had at least one part with a forged certificate. There were in all 277 fake quality certificates issued over the past 10 years out of a total of some 22,700 that were issued in that period. The article says most of those parts, 255 of the 277 categories, have already been replaced, with the remaining parts to be changed during regular surveillance on the reactors. The government added that it also has indicted some 100 officials related to the suspected bribery and corruption case, including the former CEO of Korea Hydro and Nuclear Power. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at some business headlines now over at 조선일보. Its top headline is quite alarming. It states 10 state-owned companies' snowballing debt grows every day by 77 billion won. That's roughly $72 million. The newspaper came up with that figure when it combined the debts of the 10 most debt-laden public enterprises, and it adds in its sub-headline that translates to an annual debt growth of 28 trillion won, or roughly $26 billion. Now, the inserted graph shows that the debt level of those 10 public enterprises grew pretty steeply between the year 2012 and 2013 by some 28 trillion won, and is projected to grow even more in the next 4 years. All right, and finally, we'll go on to the Korea Economic Daily and take a look at this headline, which reads, A-rated corporate bonds to scream credit crisis. This comes on the heels of the Dongyang Group fallout, and the paper highlights that an aftermath of that is falling confidence in commercial papers and corporate bonds as a whole, affecting even those companies with a credit rating in the A range. The article gives an example of one iron ore company with an A- credit rating. It tried to issue new corporate bonds from late last month, but was unable to do so because it failed to find a security company willing to issue it for them. Meanwhile, the inserted graph shows the decreasing number of maturing bonds. Those in yellow are those that are rated in the A range and B in the gray from the month of October projected through the end of the year. And as you can see, those numbers are falling. With that, we'll wrap your look at what's in print on this Friday. Next up are your closing numbers from Thursday's Market Action.
It was raining on and off on the way to work this morning in the wee hours of this morning.
That wasn't
I
all.
wonder.
We had some thunder and lightning as
We
well.
did too,
We
right? I
did.
wonder if it's still raining outside.
Oh, that I didn't know.
We'll get a
You're
check
busy
on.
working.
We'll get a check on the weather today, and also the peek at the weekend forecast with Lee Dami joining us.
Good morning, Dami.
Good morning, everyone, and TGIF. Today I'm reporting live from the beautiful ecological stream, Yangjae Stream. However, the weather is quite contrast this morning as it is a bit gloomy and glum. As a matter of fact, we saw some rain here in Seoul earlier this morning. Right now, conditions have cleared out, but we are seeing quite a bit of fog in the air. So for those of you on the roads, please take it nice and easy. Temperatures this morning are at 17 degrees Celsius. Later, our highs won't be that far off, and it'll feel a bit chilly, as a matter of fact, along with some gusty winds. So make sure to carry a jacket with you, as our highs are going to be about a lot lower than yesterday, about 5 or 6 degrees lower. Now, over the weekend, it looks like conditions are going to be clear and we'll have fine weather. Now, temperature-wise, it will be cooler. However, because of the sun, our afternoons are going to feel nice and warm. So for those of you who haven't made any plans, then maybe heading outdoors in the afternoons might be a good idea. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at the weather across the nation. Here in Seoul, it will be the coolest at 21, Daejeon at 22, Daegu in the mid-20s, Gangneung and Gwangju at 23, Busan will be the warmest at 27, and Jeju at 25 degrees. That's all for now. I'll be back in the latter half.
So the weather is a bit of a drag today, but it looks like tomorrow is going to be a beautiful one. And so if you want to check out a dance festival, there is a large-scale dance festival going on. If you like contemporary dance, and if we have a reporter, Im Yoon-hee was there at the festival, right? Good morning.
Yes, I was.
Welcome
Good
back.
morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Happy Friday, everyone. I was at the Seoul International Dance Festival this year, and the Seoul International Dance Festival officially began its program, the 3-week program. So it started on October 7th, and the Seoul International Dance Festival is hosted by the Seoul section of the International Dance Council, which is officially recognized by UNESCO as a global dance organization. So this year's festival featured some very big names in the dance community, and I was able to catch a few of the performances. So let's take a look.
Great.
Graceful, powerful, artistic. Those outside of the dance world are mesmerized by the physical abilities of dancers. But those within the dance community know that as beautiful and creative as a dancer is, that's just half the story. Choreographers may not be physically present on stage, but their artistic abilities and creativity shines just as brightly.
The choreographer is the person who takes charge of a group of dancers, and I arrive with some idea. For example, I have this idea for the movement or for certain quality of movement. In Rite of Spring, we actually try to create duet where the girls almost not touching the floor. We suddenly discover a kind of acrobatic move, we mix it with it. So it's really, the creation itself, it's like a dialogue between me and the dancer.
Visiting all the way from Canada, Hélène Blackburn has been globally acknowledged for her bold choreography since 1983 and has since led the Ka Public dance company to the top tier of Canada's dance community. Ka Public is also the opening act for this year's annual Seoul International Dance Festival, which has grown to be one of Asia's biggest gatherings celebrating the art of contemporary dance.
This festival comprises international guest dance companies as well as domestic artists. The main programming of the festival is made up with the contemporary dance style, but sometimes we like also neoclassical ballet style also.
This year's Seoul International Dance features 51 different contemporary dance works from over 16 different countries, including the award-winning US-based Complexions Contemporary Ballet Group. Led by artistic directors Dwight Roden and Chae Man-ju, the Complexions Contemporary Ballet Group is notorious for its complicated and boundary-pushing style of choreography.
What I see with choreography and myself is that it is the most natural expression. I always say anything that you've ever been a part of is a part of you. And so if you're really being authentic and you're really being truthful and honest, it's going to come out.
It's just about the all life, and it's just how to transform to dancers. They become an instrument. And when it comes to transform through these amazing dancers on the stage, working with the writing and the costume designers, all the complex thing all come up together, and it's just a great experience.
And with so many foreign artists in Seoul, the festival creates an opportunity to showcase to the global dance community some of the most up-and-coming Korean contemporary artists. Kim Nam-jin is an award-winning dancer as well as a choreographer, and his abstract performances contain a range of emotions, movements, and sounds all meant to illustrate the pains of life.
Before I dance, I performed in plays for 3 years, and that's visible in my piece. So as a choreographer and dancer, movement is not as important as my connection with the audience. That's why I mix in words with dance and music, because I don't think they should be separated.
Korea is on the forefront of Asia's contemporary dance movement, and this year's Seoul International Dance Festival shows just what Korean choreographers and dancers are capable of. Known for their technical abilities, this year's Korean artists produce creative performances with a playful edge, as well as performances that brought to light the mundane life.
I think it's a very diverse, very different programmation. You see very different aesthetics, very different styles. I assume some are still very young in their choreographic development, others already advanced. So for me it's quite interesting to compare and to see a variety of different work from Korea.
The annual Seoul International Dance Festival is an opportunity for the dance community to celebrate choreography and performances. It's also a chance for Seoul to put its talented Korean choreographers on the map.
I have to say, it
dance
looks
moves,
profound.
Right.
Mind-boggling performances.
Right.
I think that's
Profound.
the word that I would use there. But it reminds me of the performing arts market in Seoul, which is kind of similar in nature, I think. I mean, is there any affiliation with the two dance festivals?
Yeah, so the Performing Arts Market in Seoul, which many people nickname PAMS, is another contemporary annual dance event that takes place in Seoul. But this one is organized by a different group because it has a different purpose. It's geared more towards distributing the Korean contemporary dance culture overseas. And it was really interesting. The performances I went to at the Seoul International Dance Festival, I noticed the people in the audience, they looked like they were there on business. And so I kind of asked around, did some interviews, and I found that they were also there for the PAMS event. So right now in Seoul, you're going to see a lot of artistic directors from overseas who are looking to check out the Korean contemporary dance culture. So it's a great opportunity for a lot of the Korean dancers.
So the idea is to spread the Korean contemporary dance culture to the international stage, it seems like, and there are programs specifically designed to do that, right?
Yes, so this year's festival, there's programs that feature collaborative performances between, for example, Korea and France is doing a hip-hop performance, and Korea and Finland is also doing another performance. So by sort of allowing the choreographers to work together and perform together, as well as the dancers, they're kind of taking Korea's contemporary dance to the international level. So this performance still has a lot left. There's a lot more performances on the schedule, and you could catch that on the website. That's going to be at the Seoul International Dance Festival that goes until October 27th. And the schedule and the tickets can be purchased on the website as well. And so there's a free event this year at the festival called Dancing City, and it features dancers who utilize the common area in a mall. The mall is called Mesenopolis Mall in Seoul. And so you can catch some of those events there this year.
It'll be a great opportunity for people like me who are totally just uneducated in the field of
I think
contemporary dance. Yes,
right. It's quite difficult to understand, but it's beautiful
really
at the same time, right?
I mean, it really is. There's a lot of interpretation involved in that, so you can check that out over the weekend, weather permitting.
That's right. Thank you, Eunice, for that story.
My pleasure.
All right, well, still ahead on Korea today. It's been a week since celebrities strutted their stuff down the red carpet, but it still has many people talking about it. So we take apart celebrity fashion on the red carpet, looking at what made heads turn and made us beg the question, why, oh why?
And I'm sure everyone's going to be very excited for this one. Staying on the topic of the Busan International Film Festival, the festival will end its 10-day run tomorrow, but we can't go without talking about some of the styles there. So Esna Yoon joins us. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Yes, I got some of that Busan air. You guys must be jealous. But yes, there are still movie fans and movie stars that are still in Busan right now. The festival started last Thursday and it will come to an end tomorrow. But the festival was receiving a lot of praise for its great, strong lineup of pieces, opposed to just films with a star-studded cast. I was there to cover all of that and some of the side events that you might not know about. So let's take a look. A gathering of film stars, directors, and movie fans in Korea, the 2013 Busan International Film Festival opened last week on Thursday.
지금부터 제18회 부산 국제영화제 화려한 개막을 선언합니다.
Besides the grand red carpet ceremony that took place on the opening day, a variety of movie-related events took place, heating up the streets of Busan. We take a look at the fun stories behind the film festival. This year marks the 18th year of the Busan Film Festival. With the opening on the third day, the 10-day event kicked off with fun activities for many movie fans to take part in. We're here at the 18th annual Busan Film Festival, and as you can see, there are tons of people here just waiting to watch those films that are going to be screened. So let's take a look at all the things that are happening during this festival time. The activity booths at Haeundae Beach provided movie fans and people just passing by a memorable experience.
Yeah, it was about like a 90-minute show. It was really in-depth and kind of dark, but it was done really well. So yeah, it was interesting.
One of the greatest attractions of the Busan Film Festival is a chance for fans to meet with their favorite movie stars and directors. K-pop star Lee was at the festival not as a singer but lead actor of the movie Rough Play.
길에 돌아다닐 거거든요. 와서 같이 우리도 사진도 찍고 놀았으면 좋겠고요.
Not only that, Choi Seung-hyun, who returned to the silver screen for the first time in 3 years in the film Commitment, also met with his fans.
저는 본편에서 미명을 역할을 맡은 박최승현입니다. 반갑습니다.
At this year's Busan Film Festival, we were able to meet movie star turned directors. It was none other than Park Jung-hoon and Ha Jung-woo, two of Korea's leading movie stars.
입맛소리까지 나오네.
저는 알다시피 배우 생활을 쭉 하다가 이번에 감독으로 처음 시작해서 공식적으로 처음 인사를 드리는 거예요.
나도 오늘 처음 들었다.
Ha Jung-woo, who directed Fasten Your Seatbelt, also shared his thoughts on his latest film.
신경 써줄게.
네, 연출을 맡은 하정우입니다. 반갑습니다. 대한민국에서 뜨거운 부산에서 저희 롤러코스터를 처음 상영하게 돼서 개인적으로 너무나 기쁘고요.
Not only that, there was also a special event unveiling the handprinting of Jimmy Wang Yu, one of Hong Kong's top action stars back in the 1960s and 70s, along with legendary Bruce Lee. 301 movies from 70 countries were selected to be screened at this year's 18th Busan International Film Festival. Director Lee Hong-gi's Splendid But Sad Days, an Arirang TV documentary, was especially well received. The documentary tells a story of an old lady who has lived her entire life on the rough waters with the beautiful scenery of the Suncheon Bay. It was ranked one of the top 30 must-watch movies at the festival by film magazine Cine 21, receiving points for its artistic value.
Splendid But Sad Days is a documentary about the story of one female fisherman and the destiny of her life as she lives as a strong woman, a wife and a mother. I hope this is remembered as a piece that helped bring down the barrier between broadcast and the film industry.
One of the popular fun events at the film festival is the A-Pan Star Road, where you can catch a glimpse of many stars on not a red, but different kind of carpet ceremony. I am here at the blue carpet event where fans have been waiting for hours to see their favorite stars. And unlike the red carpet, the blue carpet is where you can get up close and personal with your favorite stars. The A-Pen Star Road is an event where movie stars, directors, and singers walk from Haeundae's Biff Village to Paradise Hotel on the carpet while interacting with their fans. The event was open to the public and no tickets were required, making it easily accessible for fans, and it creates an open arena of fun for everyone. The Busan International Film Festival brings movie lovers from all walks of life together, and the fun will continue until it comes to an end tomorrow.
Thanks for making us feel like losers. Right in the middle of the action. How was it, really?
I mean, so many people there, and it was at the Haeundae Beach, so it was so beautiful. I took like a 3 a.m. midnight, kind of stroll by myself, and yeah, it was great.
And there was an after party that you went to,
yes,
right? Where you rubbed shoulders with some celebrities.
I was very lucky to attend the A-Pan after party, where I did get to meet some good-looking celebrity men.
Wow.
I always have a good time.
I wonder why she hesitated a bit when she said good-looking.
Oh,
But
yeah.
anyway, but you said the blue carpet. But I noticed that the color of the carpet is not actually blue. Am I just being a nerd here, or?
No, until last year it was known as the blue carpet, but this year they changed it to the green carpet.
Right?
Yes, but regardless of the color, I mean, as you can see in the clips, the fans really get close to their stars. I mean, the stars are passing out, roses to their fans, and they're literally this close to the celebrities.
Wow.
So that's one of the most expected and more anticipated events of the film festival.
I wonder why from blue to green, though. Maybe it has
Why
something to do
why do they call it the blue carpet to begin with? I don't know.
Why do they call the red
established
carpet
its name
the
as
red
the blue?
carpet?
Because the carpet's
red.
But wasn't this one green? I couldn't see the floor.
Right. Well, it's established itself as the blue carpet. It's become like the name.
Right. It's a
pronoun,
coined
right.
name.
All right,
now,
so
I
the
guess.
blue carpet it is, but
Yes.
it's actually
Right.
green.
No matter what, right? How green it is.
When you're talking about the Korean film industry, you can't leave out the director Im Kwon-taek, Republic. And I heard that there was a special exhibition in his honor.
Yes, the exhibition showed 70 out of 101 films that he has directed, and it was one of the largest scales that the film festival has ever seen. So that was interesting too.
Tell us a bit more about that director film or documentary directed by director Lee Hong-gi, the Splendid But Sad Days.
Splendid But Sad Days, yes. So it showed on Sunday, and it showed some really good responses. It was actually a documentary that was aired on Arirang TV last year, and then it also won an award at the Korean Producers Awards in 2012, so it's already receiving a lot of interest.
I see. Well, this event, this International Film Festival, is coming to a grand finale tomorrow. So what do we expect there?
It's going to be hosted by Song Sun-mi, and her co-host is Yoon Kye-sang. And so a lot of people are really looking forward to the opening ceremony. I myself
the closing ceremony.
Oh, I'm sorry, the closing ceremony. See, I wanted to start all over again. But I'm very, very sad that it's coming to a close tomorrow. And the closing movie of the festival is The Dinner by filmmaker Kim Dong-hyun.
Okay, well, don't worry. Hold your horses because we'll send you next year, okay? All right, sounds good. As now, I'm already looking forward to next year as well. Thank you very much for joining us today. And we're going to continue on with the Busan International Film Festival momentum and check out some of the styles on the red carpet.
That's right. The highlight of the film festival is really the red carpet ceremony, right? And we save this story until the festival is almost over. Save the best for last, right? All right, we'll take you to the red carpet and much more to look at some of the most beautiful dresses and not so beautiful dresses. So let's go.
The Busan International Film Festival, where stars dress to impress. This year was no exception, with many celebrities showing off the best of their looks. Some were praised for their glamorous style, while others not so much. We take apart the fashion code at the Busan Film Festival. Noticeable was a lot of skin-revealing dresses at this year's festival. And one of the head-turning dress this year was Kang Han-na's Black Mermaid line dress. The long dress may look like any other with a high neckline in the front, but the back is a shocking plunging cut exposing more than just her back. Actress Han Soo also drew lots of attention with her skin-tone dress and a near-waistline neckline. The actress's ultra-low-cut halter neck dress had a dramatic plunge, revealing more skin than it covered. Skin-bearing dresses on the red carpet is barely a new trend. But the question always is, where is the competition coming from?
For less-known stars, it's difficult to get exposure and make it into the ranks on portal sites. So I think that's why we see people competing to wear more revealing dresses.
But that wasn't all. Some celebrities went with the classic look. The second popular style on the red carpet was the goddess look. With the tight on top of flowy on the bottom classy dress, actress Han Yoo-ju matched up silver jewelry to accentuate her glowing complexion. Shi Mi-young, on the other hand, wore a tube-top voluminous ball dress, bringing out a dreamy goddess look. Lee Yeon-hee, who showed up with Ok Tae-yeon, arrived in a long dress with some extra sparkles to show off her charm. There were also Hwang Woo-seo and So Hee-hyun, who both arrived in hot red dresses to add some heat to the already heated red carpet event. How about on the Apan Star Road? What are some of the looks this year? The long stretch is a great way for the public to get close and intimate with their favorite stars. Celebrities choose this opportunity to show off some different styles. Kang Han-na, who generated major buzz with a controversial dress, chose a modest and toned-down look, a turnaround from her red carpet look. Also, actress Hong Soo-ah chose a long black dress decorated with beads, highlighting her perfect body, this time going for a glamorous rather than revealing look. And the much-loved goddess-style dresses were also back on the Apan Star Road, much like on the red carpet. Kim Hyo-jin went with her skin tone long dress, bringing out both her feminine charm with an innocent look. Yoo In-na went with a pink tone dress with soft folds. Meanwhile, many stars chose to bare their legs with mini dresses on the Apan Star Road. Starting off with Shin Ji-soo in a white micro dress, So Yoo-jin, who chose a green mini dress matched up against black, and Kim Yoo-jin with a lovely peached color dress. Not only that, black and short was the way to go for some, with actresses Hwang In-young and Kim So-yeon both showing off their beauty, dazzling many. But it wasn't all women. Most men chose simple all-black looks for the occasion, including Yoo Ah-in, Lee-jun and Ok Tae-yeon. Choi Seung-yeon also chose a classic suit with pinstripes. While Yang Dong-gun drew some eyes with his silver pattern jacket on his otherwise black attire. Some took to the stage with colors. Chun Jung-myung sported a clean all-white look with a double-breasted jacket, creating a simple but fancy style. But how about the worst dressers at the Busan International Film Festival?
Han Yoo-ju accentuated her feminine beauty with an Indian pink mermaid line dress.
I think the best dresser was Kim So-na, who, unlike other stars, wore a cobalt blue dress that had a beautiful contrast against the red carpet.
It's this year, last year, and the year before, actress Koo Hae-sun continued with her worst dressing streak. There's no doubt some looks were more well received at the film festival, but nonetheless, the transformation in style made it all the more eye-catching.
처음엔 사랑이란 게 참 쉽게 영원할 거라 그렇게 믿었었는데 나에게 사랑.
Coming up on Korea Today, the best 5 dishes in Busan that you must try out. We introduce you to some of the top dishes in the southern port city is well known for. Now, Chef Matthew Chung brings you dumplings, noodles, steaming hot soup, and more, all from Busan.
And time now to go back to our Dami, who is standing by at the Yangjae Stream in Seoul.
That's right. She'll be having a rice harvesting experience, and
So
rice
she
does
looks
go
like
through.
a farmer now, right?
All right, we'll go to Tommy right now. Over to you, Tommy.
She is not there.
There's a scarecrow. That's about it.
I'm back reporting live from Yangjae Stream. Fall is here, which means that it's harvesting season, and around this time of year is when rice is harvested. So here at the Yangjae Stream, they're holding a rice harvesting experience program, so that's exactly what I'll be doing this morning. This is a great opportunity for children and students who lived and grew up all their lives here in Seoul to get a feel and learn about the culture of farming. Now, we have machines to do this these days, but I'm going to do it old school with the help of this tool right here called the scythe, or in Korean we call it nut. And I've done this process a couple of times, so let me go ahead and put my skill to work. All right, one right here. Let's do one more right here. Man, okay, so I'm already tired from, taking out 2 bunches of rice. So you can only imagine how much more difficult and tiring it must have been back in the days. Not only is there the rice harvesting experience, but also the threshing of rice, which is another difficult process that I have experienced that last year. Now, taking a look at the field itself, this is a vast field of about 420 pyong or 1,400 square meters. And the 360 kilograms of rice that are harvested is used to give out meals to elders who live alone, orphans, and just people who need help here in Gangnam. So it's just a fun experience and it has a deep meaning to it. So why not lend a helping hand? I also want to show you these crayon pop scarecrows. I think they're just so adorable. I think they placed them there to easily reach out to the students. That's all I have for now. I'm Idami, Korea Today.
All right, it's time to play ball as we kick things off in the major leagues. After the LA Dodgers eliminated the Atlanta Braves in 4 games and advanced to the National League Championship Series, the St. Louis Cardinals eliminated the Pittsburgh Pirates in 5 games, and Ryun-jin and the Dodgers are set to face off against the Cards. The St. Louis Cardinals finished off the 2013 season with the best record in baseball at 97-65. The 1-2-3 punch of Adam Wainwright, Lance Lynn, and Shelby Miller will challenge the Dodgers' 1-2-3 punch of Clayton Kershaw, Zach Greinke, and Ryun-jin. Meanwhile, Game 1 kicks off on Friday at St. Louis. And back here in the nation, Game 3 of the first round of the 2013 KBO Playoff Series between the Tucson Bears and the Nexen Heroes take place later tonight at Jamsil Stadium. And while the Tucson Bears look forward to a miraculous comeback, the Nexen Heroes are looking forward to the sweep. Game 3 starters No Kyung-eun for the Tucson Bears and Oh Jae-young for the Nexen Heroes. Now, so far the series has been a pitcher's duel, with the first 2 games ending on walk-off hits. While the Tucson Bears have come back 2 games down before against the Lotte Giants back in 2010, this is a different team in the Nexen Heroes. The Nexen Heroes are quite possibly the scariest team in the postseason right now as they look forward to the next round against the LG Twins. And moving on to football, tomorrow night at the Seoul World Cup Stadium, the Taeguk Warriors are set to face off against Brazil in a friendly, and it's going to be a big test for the young Korean squad. However, during Brazil's training yesterday, Neymar seems to have injured himself during practice, but will not affect his match on Saturday. And this is good news for many fans out there. We'll look forward to the matchup between the Brazilian star and Korea's very own Son Heung-min, who's having a great season so far over in Germany. While Brazil is the heavy favorite going into this match, it should still be a great test for Korea as they continue to prepare for the 2014 Brazil World Cup. Well, this weekend's a huge weekend for all you basketball fans here in the nation as the 2013-2014 KBL season tips off on Saturday. While the Ulsan Mobis Phoebus are the defending champions this season, it's going to be a difficult task trying to defend that title. Now, so far, the experts choose the Ulsan Mobis Phoebus and the Seoul SK Knights as the 2 favorites going into the new season. Both teams did face off in the finals last season, with Ulsan coming out on top, but historically, not many teams have gone two-peat. Meanwhile, the surprise favorites this season are the Changwon LG Sakers, who really strengthened their team during the off-season with the addition of Moon Tae-jong, Kim Si-rae, and their top rookie prospect, Kim Jong-gyu. And now finishing things off in the UFC, stun gun Kim Dong-hyun going up against Eric Silva during UFC Fight Night 29 lived up to his nickname and finished off his opponent in a stunning fashion. Now both fighters going into zombie mode in the second round of the match until the 33-year-old stun gun nails him, dropping him down to the ground and gets the KO victory. Now Kim Dong-hyun, who's notorious for not being able to finish fights, finally gets a KO win here as he wins $50,000 after getting the KO of the night as well. And that's going to wrap it up for me. This has been SJ. Have a great weekend, everyone, and see you guys again for your sports needs.
And Busan had that film festival, which is still ongoing, and we had Matthew head down to Busan to check out some of the food there. Good morning, Matthew.
Did you get back just this morning? You look slightly under the weather.
I wish I just came back this morning, because that means that I would have had an entire week of watching fantastic films and eating some incredible food, which is what I did, for a couple of days at least. And man, I got to tell you, the time I spent there, I ate a painful amount of food. I mean, it was literally too delicious. Like I couldn't help myself.
You look slightly bloated too.
I feel like, but you know what? In the best way possible, because it's what it's what an old friend of mine would have called it's happy fat is what it is. And among all the dishes I tried, I decided to put together a list of the top 5 foods I got to try this time in Busan. So why don't we take a look? Today, Korea Eats goes south. We're in Busan right now where we've got something big going on. It's the Busan International Film Festival. I love movies, but what I love even more is good food. And Busan has some incredible dishes for us to try. And we're here to introduce some of Busan's top dishes. Let's get to it. Today's first stop on our culinary tour Busan is 동네 할매 파전. And here they specialize in 동네 파전. They have their own unique way of making this very classic dish. So they've got an open kitchen right over there. Let's go check it out. 동네 할매 파전 as a brand has been around for 70 years. These griddles have been around for 30 years. So there's no way someone's going to just walk into this kitchen and master this dish right away. Now, this definitely takes a prize for one of the largest pajeon I've ever had. They put the lid over it and steamed it for a bit. And as you can see, it's given the egg this beautiful, delicate, steamed texture to it. You know what it is? It hits that same sweet spot that things like mashed potatoes or polenta, things that are soft and rich and starchy, it's in that category. But it's also got the great, seafood in there. It's got the egg, the slight crunchiness still of the green onion. I think I just might eat this whole thing myself. So this is 돼지국밥. It's Busan's trademark dishes that's not seafood. And it's delicious. 돼지국밥, it literally means pig soup rice. And what it basically means is that it's a hearty pork stew in which you add rice into the soup itself. So it goes a little something like this. There you go. Add a little bit of puchu. And what that does is, that just adds like a little bit of kick, a little bit of heat to it, and a little bit of freshness as well. What you want to do is you want to dip it in 새우젓, which is basically salted brine shrimp. Pork and shrimp are a beautiful combination together. So our next stop on this culinary tour of Busan, we have Nampodong. And this place probably has more restaurants, more specialized places to grab something delicious to eat than any other part of Busan. And you can tell right now, things are in full swing for the film festival. It's so hot and so good. Okay, so for our next stop, we're here at the Wandang restaurant. And now Wandang, it's a type of dumpling soup they can only find here in Busan. And I've heard nothing but good things about this place. I'm really excited. And I lucked out, there's no line today. So, let's do it. What I'm doing right now is I'm making the wandang. And that's similar to making mandu, the Korean-style dumplings, but it's a little bit different. So instead, you take this guy, you take it in a corner, rolled up like so. Here, they make up to 20,000 a day. Is that beautiful combination of the pork and the leek and the garlic. And the best part, though, for me, has always been the broth. It just takes you to a very quiet and peaceful place where everything is right in the world. And even though they're the same basic ingredients as your standard Korean mandu, it's the ratio and it's the size of them and it's how thin that wrapper is that really sets it apart and makes it something special. Some of the best dishes happen when you're able to combine richness with lightness at the same time and strike that very precarious balance of flavor. And they managed to do that here. So for our last stop on our culinary tour of Busan, we have 밀면. So completely unique. The noodles themselves, mil means wheat, so they're made primarily from wheat, and there's a little bit of sweet potato starch in there as well to give it a little bit of chewiness. It's got almost like an anisey flavor to it. It's a little cinnamony as well. Again, it doesn't really taste Korean, but at the same time, it's very much Korean. It comes in two varieties. 밀면, you have the 물 variety, and then you have the bibimbap variety. That is surprisingly spicy. I did not expect that to have the kick that it does. And as is customary often when you have bibimbap noodles, hot cup broth to go along with it. And I know that sounds funny, but believe me, that's good. The film festival, it's been getting all the press lately. But you know what? The food, it's not going anywhere. It's been great and it'll continue to stay great. So maybe today's the day to take the afternoon off work, grab a train ticket, hop in a movie theater, and grab some great food.
Telling my stomach not to make any noise.
Friday mornings are the toughest. It's because of you, honestly.
You know what? Guilty. If I'm the harbinger of all things delicious, you know what? I'll take the blame.
Oh, this wondang soup, is it a cousin of the wonton soup that we know and we love?
Absolutely, and so wondang it originates with like you said Chinese wonton soup. So it has that same sort of like luscious light, almost like eating little clouds, which actually is what the characters they roughly translate to, eating clouds from the sky. And but the key differences though between wondang and Chinese wonton is that Chinese wonton they tend to have a more assertive porky and ginger flavor, as opposed to these wondang which had a more of a green onion, more of a mandu flavor that you find with traditional Korean steamed dumplings.
It looks fabulous. Wondang, we saw you have some of the siat hot dog as well, and also the 돼지국밥, and all these foods, including 밀면, they kind of have a sadder history that ties to the Korean War.
That's true, and here's the thing about food is that it's always kind of during those times of struggle where you're able to really develop some delicious, innovative dishes. 밀면, for example, it came because a lot of refugees they would be given flour as in the form of aid, and flour really isn't a traditional Korean ingredient. It's relatively new in terms of being in the Korean culinary repertoire. So they would add it to the sweet potato starch that they'd often use to make, naengmyeon, like Hamung-style naengmyeon. And so as a result, you get something that has the flavor of flour noodles, but at the same time, it's a little chewy. And then, the adding of the medicinal herbs and whatnot into the broth that goes with 밀면. That gives it a completely unique spin, and that's what makes it something uniquely Busan. And 돼지국밥 is another example of that because y'all know 설렁탕. It's a traditional Korean soup made from beef marrow bones with noodles in it. And 돼지국밥 is a wartime sort of substitution for that, where pork was much more prevalent than beef was.
About all the other foods, I don't care about all the other foods. I just want to get my hands on those siat hot dog. That's all I've been thinking in my head all this time. But I mean, 국제 market is the place to go, right? For the siat hot dog as well as all the other fun activities.
That's true, and one of my favorite things to do anywhere I go, especially when I travel, is people watch. And 국제 market literally means like the international market. And as a result, you can just sort of park yourself on a corner with like a piping hot hot dog and just watch people go by. It's got this fantastic energy to it. It's got a great vibe, and along the 국제 market, you have places like Haeundae Beach.
Right.
That's probably one of the biggest tourist destinations there, and you have a number of really beautiful parks, cliffside areas and temples that you can go to. So Busan, it's a fantastic place to go just for a couple of days, or you can go there, for over a longer period of time, like a week, 2 weeks, and really just over the entire course of your trip, never really see the same thing twice.
I've never heard you talk so much about a certain destination ever. Well, you know what? I'm heading to Busan real
is the
soon.
place to be. Hyungil and I will go down there and have
I'll
a
have
shiat
10
hot dog,
shiat
right?
hot dogs. I can
It's pretty fattening, that
win
stuff,
and-
by
yes,
the way,
exactly.
but it's so good.
Over the
right?
course of a week, she'll have 10, right? All right, All right, Matthew,
All right,
thank you so much for joining
Matthew.
us.
Always a pleasure.
All right, that wraps up this edition of Korea Today.
And have a great weekend. It's going to be a nice weekend. Weather is cooperating this time around. We'll see you back here on Monday at 7 a.m.
Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.